agree. You play the position, you coach the position, your offensive coordinator, all that stuff. From a quarterback's perspective, someone who understands the position so innately, tell me why Lamar Jackson is playing this well this season.
Well, Lamar Jackson is a two-time MVP.
Yeah.
He's been playing well for a long, long
Yeah, he
time.
sure has.
You know, we were laughing about it. I met some guy the other day from Palm Beach, and we were talking about football, and he said, I can remember Lamar in high school. They would just write these articles and show his highlights. He was the greatest thing ever. I'm like, oh, he's kind of doing the same thing in the NFL. And, you know, when I watched him at Louisville, I just was amazed by him.
Yeah.
He just was so much better than everybody, and I think he's continued to do that. His evolution as a player, to me, has been remarkable. His growth as a drop back passer and his ability to beat you from the pocket, in addition to all the other amazing things that he does, I think has been incredible. And, you know, he reminds me of the best players that I've been around, where they're incredibly natural and instinctive at the game. And when you see him out in space pointing to guys and giving guys the nod and doing
Yep.
I mean, you think about this. This is pro football. The guys chasing him are the best athletes on the planet, and he's making it look like he's in the playground.
Yep.
And so I think he has rare athletic ability, but I also think he has rare instincts and rare feel for the game. And I commend him so much for refining his ability as a drop back passer. He can beat you from the pocket so many different ways. And then all of a sudden he's making these runs and making the plays in space. So he's playing, he probably has had his best year. And that's a high standard, because this guy is a two-time MVP. I absolutely love him to death.
I did a story a couple years ago with some of those Palm Beach coaches, and one of the guys, the coach that the viral thing happened where he stops the goal line, lets the kid run past him, then goes in. I called the opposing coach. His name was Don Hanna. And he said that game, because they had played Lamar before, but that game, they thought they had a game plan for him. He just runs all over him, passes all over him. He said that he had an existential crisis. He was going, am I the coach I thought I was? Am I the guy that I think can put these kids in position to succeed? He was like devastated. And then he goes, 3 years later, they're doing the same thing to Florida State. 3 years later, after that, he's doing the same thing to the Steelers and whomever. And now he's saying, wait, I feel amazing. I'm the same as Mike Tomlin. I'm the same as Jimbo Fisher. Like, you know, that's just what he does at every single level.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've been around him in a couple different settings where I was at a training camp practice, or I was an in-season walkthrough, and you know, he's one of those guys, like the elite athletes that we see in all sports, that when you're there, you just watch them.
Yep.
Right? If you go to a hockey game and Wayne Gretzky's playing, there's a lot of other great players on the ice, but if you're a fan, you just kind of watch Gretzky the whole time, you know? And he's one of those guys. And the biggest takeaway for me is how much he loves to play football.
Yep.
How much he enjoys it, and how that attitude is contagious throughout their team. And he has an amazing way of making plays, but also keeping everybody loose and helping them to be their best. And he's had an incredible career so far. And so, you know, that just comes with the dinner in Philadelphia. And, you know, there's a lot of scrutiny there, and it can be a tough crowd. But, you know, the job that he's done, I think, has been remarkable. And they certainly have a talented team, but it's not like their team is so much more talented than any team that's ever been assembled. They have a really good team, but he's done a heck of a job coaching that team. And the initial staff that he assembled with Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen, fantastic. Those guys leave, and I think they needed to do a little bit of a reset because it just seemed like the collapse they had last year after starting 10-1 was real.
Yeah,
and when you watch them play, they didn't play with the same spirit. They didn't play with the same confidence and belief. That was obvious to anybody who watched them play on Sundays. And so that collapse was a cause for concern. But then the reset happens. Let's go get Vic Fangio. Let's go get Kellen Moore. Let's just reset what we're doing, and let's get back to our winning ways. And for them, I think they started 2-2, and then they rattled off 11 or 12 in a row. And, you know, they've been, you know, arguably the best, most balanced team in the league. I love how they built the team. They're strong on the offensive line. They made commitments there. They're strong on the defensive line. They've made commitments there. And they obviously have excellent skill. The Saquon addition, A.J. Brown, Devontae on offense, the young guys they drafted in the secondary on defense. I think they've done an excellent job putting that team together. Howie Roseman, one of the best in the league at that. But the combination and the alignment they have in their organization right now is right. And that's why you win 12, 13, 14 games in a row like they have. And the balance they have and the ability to win on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball gives them a great chance to win this week and really continue to have success in the playoffs.
I completely agree with that. Everything you said is correct. And obviously the Kellen Moore addition, Kellen has been absolutely massive this year. And they solved it. Everybody gets to make 1 year of mistakes. And it's not that the coordinator hires weren't hit on the screws this time last year, and now they solved it. Vic Fangio's an amazing coach. Kellen Moore has pushed all the right buttons. I want to ask a couple Cowboys questions. You know the franchise well. I'll start here. Obviously, there's an opening there. What type of coach thrives in Dallas? Because I think everybody's saying, oh, they can't interview Aaron Glenn. They can't interview Ben Johnson. They fired Mike too late. But to me, Jerry's always going to do stuff a little bit different. It's a different type of organization. If someone comes to you and says, what works in Dallas as a head coach, what's the general answer there, Jason?
Well, let's pull back on head coaching hires. And I think this has happened here in the last few years, and I think it's good. For a few years there, it was all about hiring guys within the first 48 hours of when the season ended. And it's like everybody had to have this quick hire. And I do think that hire is so critical for these organizations, that your willingness to be patient and take time and go through the process, not only evaluating your own guys and then evaluating the candidates, I think is really important. You need to be thorough on this. And so if it takes a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to do it, it's a really, really important hire for your organization. Hopefully it's a hire that, stays in place for 5 or 10 years. So being patient, I don't think is a bad thing. The kind of coach who thrives there is someone who's a really good coach. There's no doubt that ownership is involved. Jerry Jones is the general manager of the team. So he's the owner / general manager is involved, and he should be. That's how the organization's set up. So I think you have to be an excellent communicator. I think you have to be an excellent leader. And when I say communicator and leader, it's not only communicating and leading to your staff and to your team, it's also leading upward in the organization. I think you have to have a really clear vision for what you want the team to be. And this is what I want it to look like as a team, on offense, defense, kicking game. These are the kind of players we want to have. And I think you have to be able to clearly articulate that and get everybody on the same page. The teams that have success in the NFL are aligned. They're aligned from ownership to general manager to head coach to coordinators, quarterback, all the way down through. Look at the obvious examples: Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, some of the other ones, the teams that are there year after year. So you're trying to create alignment, and when you're the head coach, you're really in charge of that. You're in charge of the creating